Hello, everybody. This is Bob Anderson, and today is March 18th, 2025. Um, I been done trading. I did attempt a trade in the NQ at 9:52. I got out at even, but I've been trading. I finished really my trade at 8:45 or something like that. I'm going to go over that trade. It's a 1 minute gold line trade. I'm gonna show you the trade. It was in gold, and I'm going to in detail explain exactly what I was looking at, why I took that trade, and why I saw that as a good opportunity. Now, full disclosure, I I'm struggling with one thing, and that is getting the confidence to ramp up my contracts on the trades that all the bells and whistles signal go, 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 go. And I still, you know, get timid. I actually had for this 1 minute gold line trade that I'm going to show you, I actually had two contracts, an order for two contracts on my chart. Um, and then the candle that was consolidating before the entry, I just I just didn't like the way everything was hesitating. I was wanting a bigger. I was wanting it. I was. It turned out to be a V shape again, but it just wasn't V shaping the way as fast as I wanted it to. So I downgraded it to one contract, and then shoot off it went. Just like I talk about that. Once you enter, is it what the premise of the strategy, every piece of it. I don't care if it's 1 minute gold lines, 5 minute red line crossover retake, not necessarily as much, but 1 minute gold lines, uh, uh, overnight open rejections, prior day high rejections, prior day low rejections, that kind of stuff. The premise of those things is to get, when you get into that trade, to create a large candle in your favor. And that's exactly what happened today in the gold trade I took today, and in the NQ trade I took yesterday. I mean, it's exactly what happened. Just big candle. And my whole trading strategy, again, other than that little crossover retest of the red line thingamajig, my whole premise of my strategy is to recognize those places where we have that built up pressure to go the other way because we've pulled back the reins, created a space gap from where we started to where we're at, and price is just looking for that break to show that we're going back the other way, either short or long. And that's one of the things that really appeals to me about this trading strategy, is because I don't have to say, okay, this is a support area, okay, this is a resistance area, whatever. Get in and just sit there and pray as price keeps doing this stupid stuff, because we just happen to get into a zone and I'm going to buy from this zone and sell from that zone. That type of trading scares the living bejeebus out of me. 9 times, and by the way, NQ, for example, is notorious for showing you that zone. And let's just say you're going long. Let's just say you're going long. And they're notorious for having, for say you jump in this zone long, thinking you're going to go to here. And NQ is notorious for creating that area. So you got your stop down here, and then it goes zing, takes out all those stops, and then zing. And you sit there and go, oh man, the trade worked, but I got knocked out. And then you start going mentally, well, I just need to make bigger stops. Yeah, bigger stops, bigger losses. I try to keep my losses as small as possible, just like the NQ trade I took today. Short, I will show you that. I mean, it made $20. I wasn't trying to make $20. Okay, I was trying to make 500. But when it took off, I grabbed that stop and I put it in place because, I don't want that recoil thing that NQ is notorious for, where it's like, well, we made you think we were going that way, but we're really going that way. NQ has a tendency that if it's going to go a direction, it goes that direction. Okay. And that's what happened to the trade I took yesterday. There was a beautiful rejection in the NQ today. There was a beautiful rejection. Where is it? A beautiful rejection of the prior day overnight open. Oh my God. That thing made, let's see here, from here to here, before it even slowed down. Before it even slowed down. 867. Before it even slowed down, it made 100 points. Before it even slowed down, it made 100 points. For those of you that don't know, 100 points in the NQ is $2,000 before it even slowed down. I'm going to show you that. I didn't have the nerve. Again, studying my charts, getting the confidence, seeing these things, recognizing them. I did recognize that trade. I just didn't have the nerve. I'm hoping in my, as my journey evolves, I start getting the nerve. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about, I'm going to show you the 1 minute gold line trade first that I took, that, put the money in my pocket. I'm currently $78 from my weekly goal between yesterday and today, which is $78 from my weekly goal is pretty good, considering tomorrow is FOMC day, and who knows, I may not take a trade at all because it's FOMC day. All right, so let me get some charts up. Let's go. Okay, let's see here. This is the NQ. This is gold. Let me get that out of the way. All right, so this is gold, and here's this whole area is what I want to talk about. This whole area I got highlighted. I'm going to unhighlight it so we can see it better. So this is gold, and remember, gold opens at 8:20 in the morning. So right around here, so it started slamming down to the 5-minute red line. Now, keep in mind, we had a pretty big move in the pre-market to the long side in gold today. Okay, they had all this consolidation stuff going on overnight, and then once it decided to start going, which of course nobody should be surprised by this, once it decided to start going, it created a Donchian high, a rotation back to the prior day close, and also the prior day high, and then wham. Nobody should be surprised by that, just so you know. But anyways, let's talk about what actually happened for me today. Okay, let's get over to 8:20. So 8:20, we're starting to get all this squirrely stuff. So what am I looking at? And by the way, early in trading open, I've talked about this before. Early in trading open, I'm interested quite a bit in the 1 minute gold line. Okay. And then as time goes on, if it's a trending day, like I've said before, you can kind of scalp some money off of it, $100 here, $100 there, whatever. But in general, the risk reward kind of really shrinks itself. Okay. So I'm interested in it early to get the risk reward, because we'll talk about it. We'll get to this in a minute. So let's just talk about what I saw. So again, we're on the long side, right? Because we're north of the 5-minute red line. And we have a full set of, it doesn't take a set, but we have a full candle right here. That's the first one that opened and closed whole body and all below our 9 EMA. Okay. So that's objective one, to have what I call a reset. Okay. A reset is where see, notice, like, take this one. See how this crossed over and then sat on this gold line and then shot up? and then this one came back and didn't go anywhere, because this is minimum the second attempt of that gold line. Okay, we're looking for first attempts. So I'm looking for first attempts. Okay, I've traded second attempts before. They work sometimes, but sometimes they don't, and not all first attempts work either. But again, here we go. Okay, so we have this reset. Now, what I envision in my mind is that the longs, the ones that are still long from way back here, they're just squeezing out the stops of those that chased it. So if you got in, like, say here, now they're cleaning you out. And then they go back to actually doing what they were going to do, which is a move long. So how do they do that? Again, got to remember, this is the daily high right here. When they broke that out, that's where they got the fear of missing out traders to jump in, is right here. This was all intentional. First off. This pullback here was intentional to squeeze out all these people. And this out the top was intentional to capture all the people chasing it. Okay, so two things we're looking for. We're looking for a Donchian Channel high. Doesn't have to be a daily high. Daily high only makes it better. Okay, this happened to be a daily high, only makes it better. Donchian Channel high, reset from the pullback, so we cross over, get on top of the 9 EMA, and then we pull smooth. This candle's high right here is lower or equal to this candle's high. This candle's high right here, this red one here, equal to or lower than this candle's high. That's a smooth pullback. We pierced the 9 EMA right there. So when this candle right here closed, that is when I had, here, let me do this. Hold on here. By the way, if you'll look up here, it's 40 ticks. Okay, so let me get this off, and let's go to sim mode again, so I can really walk you through this. All right, so we can really walk you through this. So I had a buy stop sitting here.
Order submitted.
Okay, but I had two on it.
Order submitted.
Initially. Okay, so I had two contracts because I was just confident as I could possibly be that this is going to be the moment Bob actually starts trying to make real money trading instead of $400 or $500 days. So anyways, that fake false confidence I had. When this candle, red one right here, closed, I had my order sitting. As soon as it closed, boom, I had my order sitting there, one tick above this red candle. Then this candle formed, came back up to the high of this candle, and then just kind of sat there. And I'm like, oh crap. And while this one was closing, I got nervous, dropped my count down to 1, and then bam, off it went. Okay, so that's how this was entered. And I had a tick of slippage, by the way. I ended up getting filled at 89 instead of 88. Yeah, so I had a tick of slippage on that. All right, but anyways, which is pretty much intended, because if you notice the movement. By the way, slippage has a tendency to be a positive thing in reality on this strategy, because that normally means there's a huge thrust, and you could see the thrust. And so when we got to here, again, because this is going to be resistance, as we've seen right here. When it got to here, I got a little, I waited, and then when this candle hit in here, I put my stop right underneath here. And then it rolled through, so I said, okay. Waited for this candle to close, and then I put my stop here, and then I just kept following the back of the candles until I got to my target, which in this case was 40 ticks. So let's see here. Let's go back to this for just a second. And there you go. You see the actual trade. So here, followed the back of the candles with my stop. And then we finally, by the way, it was touching my target, this candle right here. See that? Because that's my target right there. It was touching this target. And then the next candle opened and it immediately filled it. Spiked up, spiked back down. Anyways, that's $400, one and done. I mean, so why this trade? Okay. Reset, crossover, Donchian high, smooth pullback, right into my 9 EMA, in the direction of the trend, gone. That's it. I can't make it any clearer than that. And you know, sadly enough, that's what the NQ did also, but I didn't take it. But anyway, so that's it. That's what that trade was. And then of course, you know, it meanders and does all this garbage. Notice this is, see this, here's a potential second attempt. I don't know if it ever pierced it. Let's see. Keep having lows, it did pierce it. Oh, okay. So the second attempt pierced, and did it work? No, not really. So it went 34 to 54. Oh, it went 20 ticks. It did go 20 ticks. Okay. I certainly wouldn't have lost any money on it. But anyway, so that's that trade. So let me now get to the NQ and show you. Hold on here. I got to pull this down here. Let me show you the NQ. Oh, man. Let me show you the NQ. All right. Here's the NQ. God. Okay. So the NQ, as we all know, opens at 9:30. Okay. So there's 9:30 right there. All right. We had, we were trending down. This is the daily low. This is the prior day open. The current day open is up here, and so is the prior day close. Notice we bounced off those over here. I mean, just dynamic lines. Seriously, dynamic lines. We bounced off the prior day close twice before it was forced down to here, which brings you back through the low of the day. And then the market opens at 9:30 right here, and down it shoots. So what does it do when it shoots down? Well, it shoots right through the prior day open, pulls straight back into the prior day open. Anybody see the 100 ticks now, or the 100 points? Right there, 100 points. I tried to take the long off the prior day close. It ran up. I put my stop in here. Boom, knocked me out. Okay, but I was trading the prior day close. I wasn't that impressed with it because the pullback had a rotation and back. I mean, I'm just telling you what I did. I was very concerned. Oh, by the way, it popped through, came back inside, and then I put my order here, and it popped back through, ran up. I put my stop right there. Boom, got knocked out. Then we slammed down through the prior day low, pulled back, and I was all excited because I thought to myself, okay, they're going to run it through this prior day low just like this, just like the prior day open, just like that. That's exactly what I was expecting this to do. It did not do that. It reached, it was close, but then it rotated down. And what happened is it poked its head through again. I had my sell stop, poked its head through, and then it rolled back up. So I put my order right there. It poked its head through again and then ran down to here. And by the time it did that, I had my stop here. Boom, I'm out. I mean, I wasn't going to give it the opportunity. Now, the trade worked, but I'm not going to take the whiplash. I want the V shape like this. just like that. That is exactly what I want, is the V shape. I do not want this, okay, yep, and then, oh, we're going to go back up and touch your 9 EMA again. And then, especially when I saw this up here, I was very concerned because I thought really the play was going to be to bounce off the bottom of the prior day low, which it did not do. Lastly, I want to show one more thing, and then we're going to be done. Okay. Lastly, I want to show the RTY. And I don't know if this is a product of tomorrow being FOMC day, but while I was looking at the NQ, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this on my RTY screen, not this. Hold on here. Jesus. Sorry about that. I'm looking at this. This whole cluster. What is this? You get what I'm saying? What is this? How is anybody supposed to make any money in that? Okay. And so you got to kind of look at, when this is going on, when this kind of stuff is going on, you got to kind of look at, you got to kind of do this. You got to kind of create yourself a zone that you see all that in. And you got to say to yourself, I don't know that I want to partake anywhere in this zone, because it's just different versions of consolidation, if I'm making any sense. Okay, because this is because remember, you got to remember this. This is a 1 minute chart. There are people out there trading with 5-minute charts, 10-minute charts, 15-minute charts, that kind of stuff. And they tend to be the bigger money. That's why I focus on this 5-minute red line. They have a tendency to be the bigger money. And you don't want to get caught up in something that's totally different on their chart than yours, because you're sitting in consolidation. And so far, the RTY still hasn't done a damn thing. Still hasn't done a damn thing. Now, hold on here. This was a crossover. Let's look at this for just a second. This was a crossover. Now, it's late in the day for a gold line trade, but this was a crossover right here through the bottom, pulled up into the gold line, and then broke down. So yeah, there was some thrust there. I mean, there's a little something there. This also, just to put it in perspective, let's look at this. This has been a down, by the way, overnight open, boing, 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 push, 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 push. This has been a down day for the most part. So up into the 5-minute red line, down, up into the 5-minute red line, down, up through the 5-minute red line, failed break long, rotate down, up inside the 5-minute red line, down, up into the 5-minute red line, down, up into the 5-minute red line, down. Anybody notice a trend there? So the potential trade would have been this. The continuation of the 5-minute red line at about 11 o'clock. This is where price, again, failed to go long, and this is not a viable trade, in my opinion, until the afternoon. In the afternoon, you can look for that rotation crossover back to the overnight open, but not in the morning still. So what happened? Failed, pulled right into the red line, boom, and you can see, obviously, there was traders lined up for that. And by the way, those traders did exactly what I talk about. They took that rejection of the 5-minute red line and they brought it back to this area right here. By the way, and pushed it through by a couple ticks and then ran it up into the gold line. Have you seen this movie before? Anyways, everybody, have a good day. I am not trading anymore today. I'm just taking that, I'm taking my win and my couple break evens and calling it a day. Everybody have a good day. Oh, and remember, tomorrow's FOMC day, so who knows? I don't know if I'm going to take any trades. Talk to you later. Bye.